A beautiful day in the city of Lagos. In fact, a beautiful sunny day in the city of Lagos. And you're watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. I still remain your humble host, William Tuzumba. And today we shall be talking orthopedic medicine. You know, medicine is a broad subject matter. And today, interestingly, we'll be talking about this very unique area of medical practice. And my guest today will enlighten us and let us know all the need-to-knows about orthopedic practice. So why not just sit back, relax, and after this time out, I shall be unveiling who my today's guest is. Please don't go nowhere. We shall be right back.
Looking for the best events? Log on to ConnectNigeria.com.
Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. Before that short break, I did tell you that today we shall be talking orthopedic practice. And my guest today is no other than Dr. Sunday Onimisi Salami, the Chief Medical Director or the CEO of Summit Orthopedic Hospital. Sir, welcome to the program today.
Thank you for having me.
And it's great for you to have us in your wonderful office.
Yeah.
Good. Now, let's jump right into it. First of all, why the name Summit Orthopedic Hospital, and what exactly do you do here?
Okay, we Summit Orthopedic Hospital. It's a single specialty orthopedic hospital.
Okay.
So single specialty means that we concentrate on just one particular aspect of medicine. And the reason is simple, that if you do one thing repeatedly, then you get better results.
Get better results, true.
So if we say Summit means that we are at the top of our practice, of our medical practice. So
Okay.
we are Summit. So in orthopedic practice, then we are the Summit of orthopedics. So that's just why we come up around that name.
Very
For Summit
fantastic
Orthopedic Hospital.
analogy, very fantastic explanation.
Yeah, so we are the Summit of healthcare practice. All we do here is orthopedic.
Orthopedic.
We don't do any other thing. We don't see pregnant women. We don't see children. So in that way, I believe that if you do the same thing repeatedly, then you get so good at it. You get better results.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, at what point in life did you decide that, look, I want to go do my own thing? I mean, there are many teaching hospitals all over Nigeria as a country. There are many other private medical facilities. At what point in your career did you tell yourself that, look, I think I want to do my own thing. I want to be my own entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I've been a doctor for about 20 years now, although I may not look it, but I've been a doctor for 20 years. So I work for the government at some point, specialized. So when I decided to leave the government was because I felt I wanted to give better quality service. So and in the government's facility is very difficult to not. I can't say you get good quality service there, but there are some kind of the level of service delivery which I felt I could give was difficult to give in the government setting for various factors which may not be maybe long kind of explained later. But basically I felt that being in private practice gives me the good environment to be able to give quality care to the level which I feel I can give.
Good.
So I can control a lot of things. In the government, I can't control a lot of things.
Too much bureaucracy.
Yeah, too much bureaucracy. You can't control who you don't hire and fire. So therefore, you can't control a lot of things.
You just work with what you have.
You just work with what you have. So in the private setting, I think you can give better quality of care.
True. Okay. Now let's go this route. How long has Summit Orthopedic Hospital been in practice?
Yeah. Summit Orthopedic Hospital have been going to 2 years now.
Oh, 2 years.
Yes, going to 2 years, just 2 years.
Good.
Yeah.
How's the journey been so far? I mean, we all know that entrepreneurship is not an easy thing, especially in a climate like Nigeria.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
How has the journey been so far?
Yeah. Well, like you said, you mentioned being in Nigeria. Being in Nigeria is not easy. So being an entrepreneur in Nigeria is not. It's challenging, and it's there. To be honest, it's quite challenging. But at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities in entrepreneurship.
True.
So I think I would rather focus on the benefits or the possibilities. But I hate discussing negative. So I rather focus on the possibilities. There are a lot of possibilities, and there are challenges. But I don't believe in challenges. So I believe in focusing on what can be done correctly. Yeah.
Fantastic.
The basic problems we have, power, enabling environment, but I think those can be overcome. So I wouldn't say there are so many challenges. So
I love the spirit and the optimism you just narrated now. So maybe I should even throw a follow-up question to that. I mean, for some time now, the word innovation, being innovative, keeps resonating in the minds and heart of a lot of people, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
Yes, correct.
So how would you say that your facility of Summit Orthopedic Hospital, in what ways have you innovated yourself to cope with the various challenges that befalls many other entrepreneurs and businesses that start up in Nigeria?
Yes. So I think at the core of any business, in healthcare,
Yeah.
all businesses have their own core. So
True.
in healthcare, at the core of any business is the patient. The patient. So the patient, we say the patient is a universe, is the center of the medical universe. So in healthcare, the patient is the center of. So we at Summit, we concentrate on the patient. So the patient experience. So we care for the patient and we show that we care. So that's one of our standing points. So when the patient comes, every attention is to the patient. So that way we're able to give quality service. So the staff, the patient directs, because I keep on telling people, and in the government it may not be so obvious, that the patient, reason why you are being paid salary is because there's a patient.
The patient.
So if there's no patient, then there's no hospital.
There's no hospital.
So if your patient comes in, you should give all your attention 100% to the patient.
Very true.
So I think that's what I feel, that's one of our biggest. So we concentrate on the patient, we make sure that the patient experience is good.
Second to none.
Patient experience. So apart from the medical care, which of course is the core of the business, but the other aspects, the soft aspect of medicine, making sure the patient is comfortable, making sure the patient is happy. I think that's one of our strong points.
That's good.
So we focus on the patient experience and make sure that the patient is happy.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now let me go back to something you said earlier, even that has to touched also about your work experience.
Yes.
You've been privileged to work with a government medical
Yes.
facility. Now, we also talked about the fact that starting a business in Nigeria can be challenging. It is all over the globe. Let's not just kid ourselves.
Absolutely.
But Nigeria has its unique peculiarity.
Excellent.
Now, what do you think the government, both at state and federal level, can do to help entrepreneurs grow their businesses, especially those in the medical practice like yourself?
Yes. So one of our biggest challenges so far, because like the world is, it's the modern times now, so we use a lot of technology. We leverage a lot on technology in our practice.
True.
Most of this technology are now available, so we import. So the issue of importation, a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
So on getting things, I had a colleague, his goods were seized by the customs.
Wow.
And there was a law that medical equipment should not have duties or.
Yeah, I was even about to ask that.
Oh,
I thought medical people had waivers. Medical importations had some kind of waivers.
There was a waiver last year during COVID. I think they now said that it expired. So the waiver has expired. So the custom quickly came in, and so that also drives the cost of Medicare. Because, like I said, it's a specialized practice, highly dependent on technology.
Yes.
So we really leverage on technology, and most of these things are sometimes recent technology. So you have to import them. So that's part of the challenges we have. Aside financing, capital.
Yes.
Which is another thing. So if you have good, like for example in India, we're talking about India. India, the government was deliberate
in investing in
Medicare. They'll give you land, they give you loan, tell you 5 years, don't pay. So that's why you see India is benefiting from.
Yeah, some people call them the medical capital of the world.
So India is benefiting from what the government had foresight, and they had all these things. So we, on the contrary, we don't have
all those
those facilities. So you take a loan from the bank at 28%, 30%.
Wow.
Then how you
so even banks too don't even financial institutions don't even say because you're a medical practitioner.
They don't. I think there are some Diamond Bank, but it's not regular like that.
Now speaking about loan, it's interesting you went that route, because from my interaction with the various businesses I've had on the show, it's still one of the core elements of setting up a business, finance.
Yes.
How challenging was that for you? I mean, I've been in your facility, I've toured your facility. It's pretty impressive, and I don't need anybody to tell me that quite some good chunks of money have gone into it. How challenging was it for you to get the needed finances you sorted to get to where you are today?
Yes. First of all, I will answer that by saying that if you want to look at the issue of financing, then you wouldn't start a business. So
that's very true.
So what I did, first of all, I started from savings.
Okay.
From savings. So my facility, I left the government hospital and I worked for 2 years before I set up this practice.
Okay.
So during that period, I decided to save money and started small just in elementary steps.
Okay.
And gradually we build it up. We're not where we want to be yet. So we still believe we still have a lot to do. But I think the hardest part is to start. And once you start the practice, then you expand gradually.
Fantastic. Now, I want us to go more into Summit as a brand, Summit Orthopedic Hospital. Can you take us through some of the core kind of services you render, so that the viewers back home would really understand what you do?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say orthopedics. Orthopedics, the term, some people may not know what orthopedics means.
True.
So orthopedic means, ortho means straight. It's a Greek word. Pedics means children. So from the old days, making bones straight.
Oh.
So that's a simple analogy of orthopedics.
Okay.
So basically orthopedics surgery deals with conditions of the bones and the joints.
Okay.
So that's what we do here at Summit, and that involves a lot. Commonly, people talk about accidents, fractures. So one of our core areas is fractures. People who have fractures, broken bones, we're able to treat them. People who have joint problems like arthritis, but particularly even among orthopedic practice, we are a sub-specialty practice. So we deal with sports medicine. We treat athletes who are injured. We treat recreational athletes, both professional athletes and recreational athletes. We treat people with spine problems like back pain, neck pain. So this is basically part of the services we also render. We also do physiotherapy. So physical therapy means using physical means to treat correct problems. I'm sure you've had physiotherapy, so you know.
I've had a bit of the experience before, so I know what you're talking about.
So that's basically what it means. So that's just a highlight of our. So basically, bone and joints. So like I said earlier when I started, that we try and concentrate. Because one of the things I found that when you're trying to do so many things, then you water down the quality of service delivery.
True.
So what I found that if we can focus on this alone, then we can give better quality care, especially specialist care. So basically, we're a specialist hospital. Basically, that's what we do.
Fantastic. Now, sir, tell us a bit more about your work environment, your staff strength, and what have you. How would you rate the importance of working with the right kind of team?
Yes, that's in fact that cannot be overemphasized because we're a service company, so we deal with people.
Of course.
So the first thing the one thing that I feel that the staff must buy into they must be passionate about what I think that's one of the biggest things I expect. You must be passionate. If you're a doctor, you're passionate, your staff are not passionate,
there's a problem.
It's a problem. So one of the highlights we have that our staff, they are passionate, they love their job, they love the patient, so they're able to deliver. So if you don't love your job, then you can't perform. So if I was in a government hospital, the first thing I would do, I would sack like 50% of the staff.
Tell me about it.
Because they shouldn't be working.
Yes.
If you're not a people's person, then you may not be able to work
in the hospital.
So one of the biggest strength that we make sure that we give them trained, they are well trained when they come in. So not in their professional part of that, but mainly in people's skills. So being able to attend to people, being able to be friendly with the patient. So I think that's one of the biggest.
Sorry to cut you. How important is the training you just mentioned, people skill training?
Yes.
How important is that to a business, not just the medical field? How important is it for an entrepreneur, an MD, a CEO to understand that people training skills is important to my staffs? How important is that to a business?
To a business, it's everything. To a service business, there's a quote by Angela Mayo. She said that people will remember how you make them feel.
True.
It's very important. So how you make people feel.
True.
It's the key point. So no matter how much you've invested in facilities, and if the people's skills are not there, then your business will not function. I keep on telling people that we're a hospital.
Yes.
We're in hospitality business too.
Of course.
So in hospitality business, you want to make the clients or the guests feel very important. So the same thing we try and do here. Although we're not a hotel, but we copy that philosophy. I like the philosophy that when I go to a hotel, you call you by name. Good morning, Mr. Salami. And I'm happy that you are welcoming me. So the same thing. Although it's not the core of our business, but it's an integral part of healthcare business. So any business should focus on the people. The staff must be able to make the people or the customers, not in healthcare generally, but the customers must, in healthcare, our customers are the patients. So we make sure they are comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, then so a smile can cure an illness.
Of course.
Before I give you an injection in my back, a smile.
You have to make them feel very comfortable.
Feel very comfortable that you'll be happy taking the injections.
True.
So
very true.
Pain management starts with a smile.
Yeah.
So when you see a doctor, the doctor is smiling at you, or it's not, even if it's smiling, then you're happy. So you know that your pain is going to go. When I'm squeezing my face, you come to the hospital, it's like you're a body to be.
Are you sure I'm safe?
It becomes a problem. So I think cannot be overemphasized. If I walk into a restaurant or maybe a hotel, you know, I like the way so that's I feel to me that's the way hospitals should be.
True.
That's the way hospitals should be.
True. Now I'd like to talk a bit more about some of your exposures and experience all through your career from your university days. Can you share some of the various exposures you might have had both locally and internationally while training to become?
Yeah, so I get my first degree from the University of Benin in Nigeria here. Then I worked at the Orthopedic hospital here in Lagos.
Oh, okay. Famous Igbobi.
Yes, Igbobi. I worked in Igbobi for some time, about 6-7 years. That's where I actually learned orthopedic surgery. Then I have traveled out of the country to different countries, South Africa, India, Egypt, for more training and exposure in orthopedic surgery. So in that way, I've seen both ways. I've seen what obtains here, and I know what obtains outside. So that way we're able to benchmark our practice. So I keep on telling my staff, hey, that don't say you are better than the general hospital. No, you must look at what obtains outside the country. I tell the patient that the treatment I'm giving you, if you go to New York, it's the same treatment. So I think that's the way we should aim for, the quality of care. And you can only come from exposure. If you don't have it, then you can't give it. So if you don't know what obtains outside, then you may not be able to. It's not your fault. So part of my training, and I keep on doing it every year. I travel out. I was in South Korea just before the lockdown. I was amazed at the quality of healthcare they've attained. So I think that's what I feel we should ultimately aim for to achieve. So my traveling has exposed me, and I realized that healthcare is more than just what we see here. It goes beyond what we try and do here.
It's interesting you mentioned this the various travels you've done over the years to help build your career to where it is, which will take me back to one of the earlier questions I asked about the role the government plays towards helping businesses. How would you rate the brain drain that we've experienced, especially in the medical field? Do you think it's good for the country, and what do you think the government should do in that regard? Because we have quite a number of brain drain in the medical field.
Yes. In fact, it's quite sad. So it's to say it's sad is an understatement. To be frank, because my colleagues. So when you have new doctors leaving the country, then it may not be much of a problem. When you have an experienced doctor going to Saudi Arabia, going to UK, then you know how that's a red flag.
Yes. So who trains the new one?
Who trains the new one? So it's going to be a big problem in the future. And with the COVID now, most countries are now trying, because the easiest way to get a doctor is to poach him. Medicine takes 6 years, so most countries realize this, and they are very smart. So they are now trying to get that. So I think what our government should do, first of all, is to create an enabling environment. Now I read on news that some doctors are being owed 3 months' salary in the country. These are young doctors, so how do you expect them to feel happy? So the payments should be made regular and should be reviewed to suit international standards. Aside that, the working environment should be made conducive. But besides all this, if the country does not get better, people will keep on traveling. Even if you are being paid well, if there's no security, insecurity. So the brain drain is not just tied down to money or being paid. So there are a lot of factors. Not only in healthcare, a lot of other disciplines that live in, engineers that live in. So healthcare is just maybe being publicized more, I feel. So I think the government, the first thing our country has to be improved generally before we can tackle this effectively. But a start is improve their remuneration, make sure they have good working environment, and probably then
we'll move from there.
Time, because we can't change Nigeria overnight.
Of course.
But there are things you can do immediately.
That's very true.
Nigeria will remain. I'm not be a prophet of, but I don't know how long it will take Nigeria.
That's very true.
When we'll get stable power supply, electricity, I don't know when, but things that can be done immediately include making their well paid, and this we can stem the tide.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, at this point in time, I think we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, I'll ask you some more questions about yourself and how you draw some other motivations to do what you're doing.
Thank you.
Good. Well, viewers, you're still watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com, and today my guest is Dr. Salami Sunday Onimisi, the Chief Medical Director of Summit Orthopedic Hospital. And we have been talking a lot about orthopedic medical practice, and I want to believe you've learned a thing or two about this very unique profession. When we come back after the break, I shall still be asking some questions to my guests. So please don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. We shall be right back after this time out.
Looking for the best events? Log on to ConnectNigeria.com.
Welcome back to Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. And today we're still talking orthopedic medical practice, and my guest still remains Dr. Sunday Onimisi Salami, the Chief Medical Director or CEO of Summit Orthopedic Hospital. So you're welcome to the second phase of today's discussion.
Thank you very much.
And it's been beautiful so far. Even I've been learning a lot from what you've been saying so far.
I've been learning a lot. So far.
Good. Now, let me do take you back to the practice of orthopedic medicine.
Yes, please.
Now, in our local environment, Africa, Nigeria, there are those we call the bone setters, who, when you have a dislocation, most people quickly tell you, let me take you to this Baba or this Iya. They will help you arrange the bone and set it well and tie it, all kinds of stuff to make it heal. How does that profession, tie to yours or competes with yours? Has been the embracement from people generally with your kind of practice and those kind of practice?
I'll approach it like this. I will say that right before modern medicine came on, we've had we've been having fractures.
Yes.
So we've always had them. They've always been with us.
True.
So now, when a bone breaks, it will heal on its own. If you don't do anything, you see animals, they have fractures, and the fractures heal.
True.
But the issue is, does it heal in a good position, or does it even heal at all? So that's where the traditional bone setters come in. So their mode of management is a bit outdated. So they rely on the fact that the bone will heal if nothing happens. So they keep you on the bed, put some sticks, leave you for 6 months. I've had patients who spend 6 months in the bone setter's place.
Wow. After
then, they still come out with problems. So I think what I feel that they should be regulated. So they are stakeholders. So we shouldn't chase them away.
Keep them away.
So they need to be educated. They need to be trained to be made aware of what should be their limits. So when you have their limits, then you know how to address them. To be honest, because they've been there for years before modern medicine came. So we shouldn't just. So they are major stakeholders that they should be educated on what to do. And
so without a doubt, this is still another area where the government can play a role.
Yes, the government
enlightenment, educating them,
regulation, making sure they are regulated. Because among them, they are quacks.
True.
Among the bone setters,
everybody claims to be a bone setter.
Because probably because the financial benefits, they are not. So among them, they are quacks. So I think they should be regulated and they should be work professionally in a way too.
Good. Now, Doc, tell me this. Apart from your medical training, the other trainings you've gone to do abroad and what have you, I want to believe you're a book reading person. I mean, being in your office right now, your bookshelf is just behind you there, and I can see a number of books lined up there. Are there books you draw very strong attachments to that have helped you in your medical practice so far? Can you share some of those?
Yes, medical books. If I want to list medical books, I'll list like 100 of them.
Definitely.
So, but I want to list books generally that have shaped my thoughts in life. So one of the funny enough, you may find it surprised. One of the books I've read, The Art of War.
Oh,
yeah. So
are
The
you
Art
serious?
of War.
Interesting.
By a Chinese philosopher.
Yes, what's that his name? I've read it too. The name just.
It's one of the books that really influenced my thinking.
Interesting.
In life generally. Another book that I found interesting, Gifted Hands by Carson. Although now a lot of people may not be happy with the recent. When I read him, he was 1993. He was a great guy. Carson is a neurosurgeon. So it opens our eyes that you can be anything you want to be.
Okay.
Once you believe it, where you come from, if you are grew up in a Jagule, whatever you are, once you have that passion and belief, then I think you can achieve that. So I think those two books. Are one, yeah.
Good.
Those two books.
Now, what about mentors? Do you have mentors? And at your level now, do you also create an atmosphere where you can have mentees that you also...
Yes. Mentorship is very, very important. So I have mentors in the country nationally. So two of my mentors, they are surgeons.
Oh, okay.
I learned a lot from them. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention.
No, you're free. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Omodele is a surgeon at the Lagos State University.
Okay.
Dr. Odunubi at the Orthopedic Hospital. And one of the things I learned from them, one of the most important, is time. They always
time
keep the time.
management.
So you can time yourself with the way when they tell you they're going to be there by 8,
Yeah,
they're there by 8. When they tell you they're going to be there by 10, they're there by 10. So one of the most important things I've learned from my mentor, they're my mentors, apart from surgical philosophy, the way they believe in surgery, they keep it simple. But timekeeping is very important for me. Yeah, we have opportunities for mentorship. We have a medical student who comes here once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Some other doctors, they come in to see what we are doing differently, and they're trying to influence them. So I think mentorship is very important. I also have mentors outside the country. They keep on advising me on what to do and how to do things better.
Good.
So I think mentorship is very key.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Very key for development.
Now, we're fast coming to the home stretch of this interview today. I mean, how time flies.
Yes.
But I still have a few more questions.
Yes, please
do. What role would you say, I want to believe you're a family man.
Yes, I'm a family
Good. What role would you say family life too has played in your journey so far as a medical practitioner?
Yeah. Family is, I like to say family is everything to us, because family is everything you do in life has to be
Is for your family.
For your family.
One way or the other.
So if you have problems at home, you may not be able to look up. So your family, they have to go sacrifice a lot for you. Because you spend a lot of time at work. So I think you have to have an understanding spouse and family to understand that your job is quite demanding.
True.
So you're married, so we say in medicine, you're married to medicine and you're married to your wife. So if you're marrying a doctor, then you're marrying the medicine and
the medicine itself.
And your wife too. So one should not be too jealous of the other aspects of it. So I think family is key, and that's your support system. When you're not happy, when things go wrong, then it's very important. Family is everything to us and to me too. So I think family is key.
That's lovely. Lovely.
Family is key.
Now, how do you relax? I want to believe it's not all work for Dr. Salami. So how does Dr. Salami relax?
Yeah. So basically, I relax with my family. I like going out weekends. I like hanging out sometimes.
What about sports? Is there any unique sports you like particularly?
Yeah, I used to play tennis.
Okay.
And recently, one of my patients is trying to introduce me to golf.
But
I'm not old yet, so I used to assume that old for playing golf.
Instead, it's even the reverse. It's quote unquote big boys that plays golf.
Recently, I began to take up golf.
That's not bad.
Walking, exercising, and also photography. I'm trying to pick up, but I'm not at the time. Just photography, because I find that taking pictures. Photography is very good.
Maybe you should come talk to me some more. I'll take you to some classes on photography. We have photographers in house.
I'll invite them to come. I like
That's
because
good.
you can tell a lot by just pictures alone.
Of course.
You can tell
it tells 1,000
stories. So you're getting a good shot. So I think it's one of the hobbies that's really intrigued me. But
good.
Unfortunately, I've not been able to
have time
immerse myself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, photography.
So now, Doc, as we come to the home stretch for today, I will throw two questions to you. One is your words of encouragement to other entrepreneurs, either doing what you're doing or even doing other things. I mean, you're a success story, no doubt about that, and we can't wait to see where you go from here. Or even maybe before I even jump into that, let me even ask: 5 years from now, where would you like to see Summit Orthopedic Hospital? 5 years from now.
Yeah. 5 years from now, I want to see us as the dominant player in orthopedic practice, not only in Lagos, in the country, not only in the country, but in the sub-region, West African sub-region.
Great.
Believe it or not, we've had patients coming from outside the country for treatment here in our practice. So in 5 years' time, we want to be a dominant, I want to have more orthopedic surgeons, more younger colleagues coming to the practice, and we'll be a dominant force in delivering quality healthcare in our country.
Fantastic.
So that's our vision.
Fantastic. Now, what will be your advice to other entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs? What would be your advice from your experience setting up your own business so far?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest you must have passion for what you do.
Passion.
Because passion is not, so don't go into it because I want to make money. Everybody's got Mr. A is going to not everybody has that. You have a lot, and when the challenges come, then you just fizzle out. So you must have passion for the business you want to do. Then you must infect your other people. You must infect your staff. You must infect them with the passion. So they must share that passion with you. I think once you have that, then you'll be able to overcome all the obstacles. Then you must be good at what you do, and that means you must be good at what you at the core. Because no matter how friendly you are, if you're not good at the core of the business, then the business may not.
The business will not
So
survive.
if you have a cook that is very jovial, but his food is not sweet, then
No.
you may not go.
No.
You have a good setting, the ambience, the packaging,
The service is poor.
So the service must be that. So you must be diligent in that aspect first. Then you can now other things will now come and have passion.
Fantastic. Now, Doc, I won't let you go today without asking you to give one or two health tips to the viewers back home, the folks back home. Being an orthopedic medical practitioner, what is very few basic things you tell those watching today's program to do that would help them that will help their general bone structure in the body? What advice would you give?
So one of the biggest problems we have now is COVID. So everybody's working from home. So working from home means sitting on your computer for hours.
Yes.
So sitting is the next smoking. You know what I mean? Sitting is the next smoking.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
Sitting down comes with a lot of problems. So if you sit down on the computer for a long time, you have back pain. So you're using your phone. We have young people now using phones. They're always like this for hours. So it strains their neck, strains their back, and that can lead to back pain, neck pain, and other. Sitting down alone increases risk for having diabetes or obesity, a lot of complications. So I advise you to always take frequent breaks when you're working from home. Don't work for more than 2 hours continuously. Stand up, walk around, take a lot of fluids, water, and have frequent walks. So in our practice, we've seen a lot of, for the lockdown, especially the lockdown, a lot of people were very used to exercising, walking around them. They're just at home. So my advice is get active. And don't sit on the couch. Working from home every time.
Those are very good tips. I must say they are very, very good tips. and they're on point. They're on point.
Very important.
Well, Doc, it's been lovely having you on the show, I must say, and I've learned a lot from you talking to you today. And I will continue to monitor the success story of Summit. Rest assured. And I hope when next we invite you on the show, you come and share some more wealth of experience.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Great.
Being on the show.
Thank you. Well, viewers, we've heard it all from my guest today, Dr. Sunday Onimisi Salami, the Chief Medical Director, CEO of Summit Orthopedic Hospital. And wow, what a discussion it's been. And so I want to believe, for those of you watching today's program, the word orthopedic will no longer be a strange word to you. It's been broken down, it's been explained, and I personally have learned a lot from today's interview. Remember, you can always watch the post-recorded version of this program on our website, www.connectnigeria.com/CNTV, and you can also watch it on our YouTube page. Just go on YouTube and look for Connect Nigeria, and you see all the interviews we've had, both today's own and the previous ones. And if you want to follow me, you want to reach out to us, you want to share you want someone on this show, just do well to follow us on Connect Nigeria on all platforms, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm William Tuzonga across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, LinkedIn, you would get me. Until we come your way, same station, same time next week, continue to keep a positive mind, as I usually say on this show, and the sky will just be the beginning of your success. And also, don't forget, the pandemic is still here with us, sadly. It's still here with us. Continue to stay safe, continue to stay hygienic, continue to follow all the rules from the regulatory authorities. And if we do so, we as a nation, as a people, we can work together to fight this scourge, and believe me, we'll come out of it victorious. Bye, guys.